Well, welcome back to the Drive Channel. And behind me is my 1998 Ferrari F355, and it's the car that I have been slowly converting to a manual transmission. In the last video, we showed the gearbox or the shift box being put in. So this video is going to be a bit of an update in terms of what I had to do to the car. So to make a long story short, or to give you an idea of what to expect, I had to plumb the clutch line, which meant going up and over the gas tank. A real quick bit about the plumbing. So over here, back here, these are the brake lines, and this is the clutch line. And so this block that I have here is from Hill Engineering, and it replaces this single union, which is just for the brake line, and it makes it a double union. So I put the brakes on this side over here, and then the clutch over here. And then moving all the way back to the back of the car, which is incredibly dark as you can't see, this line just has to follow all the way to the back of the car. So it just follows all the way to the back of the car, up and over the gas tank, which is not in place right now. And essentially it just shadows the clutch line, just shadows the brake line. So there it is up there in sort of the gold color, I guess that is, and the brake line is the white color. So it's obviously not completely in place, but I have it plumbed all the way to the back, where there's another dual union, also from Hill Engineering, same part, and that part will go right here. So this is the left side of the car in the back, and you can see the clutch line up there and the old single union, and that'll be replaced by that same gold double union from Hill Engineering. But that's okay. Removing the gas tank is a pain, but I had to remove it anyway to do the belts. And as you can see here, the gas tank is out of the car. So that was a lot of fun. That helped. Well, that didn't help. That was the whole reason why this is the whole reason why I can do the cam belts, because with this gone, I don't actually have to drop the engine. I could actually just raise the engine a tiny bit to expose the giant nut on the main bearing, on the crankshaft, and then do the cams from there. I did the cam belts. Okay, and here we see, this is my work area. So you got the cam belt on that side, you got the cam belt over here. I've already removed the 38 millimeter and pulled this pulley back so that I can get the belts on and off. And now it's just a matter of putting everything on and getting it torqued up properly. But as you can see, the belts are actually in pretty good shape, despite the fact that I believe there's about 20 to 25,000 miles on these belts, and about 15 years. So that gives you an idea of the fact that these are actually pretty robust, these belts. So you know, don't worry too much if it's a little bit over the time allotted. This, however, is way over the time allotted, so I'm glad that I'm doing the work on this. All right, so that's the first one on. So we got the new belt, we got the new tensioner there. I haven't pulled the pin yet, so this little pin is what you pull last. But first you have to tighten everything up and check the gap there. That has to be 2.5 millimeters. So I checked the gap, this is all tightened up, and really all I have to do is pull this and pull the pliers off of there as well, because during the process you have to be real careful. Do not touch the pliers. So new tensioner, new bearing. The old bearing was actually, I'd call it about a 7 out of 10, and the belt was probably at least 7 out of 10 despite the age, and well, that's okay because it's all on there. I did the cam belt tensioners and the idlers for those, as well as the auxiliary belts. And this is a strange car in one respect because it has 3 additional auxiliary belts. Okay, and here we have the tensioners. Actually, those are the tensioners. The tensioner bearings, the water pump and alternator belt, a air conditioning compressor belt, and the 2 cam belts. So all these are going to be replaced today. Weirdly enough, I have a little bit of a leak right now
from the valve covers. I had a big leak when I initially started it from the valve covers, and I tightened them up, but there's still a drop that's showing up despite having replaced them. They're brand new valve covers on both sides. Valve cover gaskets, excuse me. But yeah, so I may have to tighten that up just a little bit more. So the bad news is that the shift linkage is still not in. I still have to do that. But first, this weekend, I'm going to spend just tidying everything up. So for example, there are 3 bolts that hold the filler nozzle into the body of the car just behind the flap. There's one right now because I figured if the car didn't run right, I would have to take all that stuff apart again. Well, since the car is running okay, I don't have to do that. So this weekend is going to be basically just kind of making everything, tidying everything up, put the bolts where they're supposed to be, brackets where they're supposed to be, and make everything look nice and tidy. And then from there, it's going to be it's kind of up in the air because I could go either way. Well, I can. While doing this work, I did notice that the inner boots for the CVs, the CV boots, were basically disintegrating. What I find astonishing about the fact that the CV boots have disintegrated is just how brittle they are. So when I felt them, they are quite brittle at this stage. And I would think that, look, this car is old, but I didn't think it was really that old. It's about 25 years old. Being in 1998, this is 2023. Yeah, so extremely brittle. Now I know why all the guys like Scott Radarosa and Exotic DIY all did the CV boots on their cars. And I was asking myself that very question, like, why are these guys doing that? Because, I have cars like this Land Rover over here with 155,000 miles on it, and the CV boots are fine. Now, granted, this is a 2009, so it's like 11 years younger, but still, the CV boots are not disintegrating on this car, but they certainly are on this one. And that's actually a popular thing on this car because the CV boots are in towards the engine. There's a lot of heat over there. The heat shields are not particularly good that are supplied with the car, and so it tends to they tend to go through a lot of heat cycles, get brittle, and then disintegrate. And that my car was no exception. So I can do that next, or I could do the shift link next. But my biggest concern at the moment is the brake system, which is completely locked up for some reason. So when I replaced the pedals, I had to take the brake booster out, and I had to take the master cylinder out. But I left the master cylinder connected, and I separated it from the brake booster. I don't know if that's a big problem, but for some reason, the system is completely locked up. And I thought it would free up after the car was started and run for a few minutes, because then it would build up the vacuum. But it doesn't appear to be. That doesn't appear to do anything. So that's a bit of a concern right now, because I did not anticipate any problems with the braking system. So that's a real bummer. But we'll have to see what I can do to fix that. It may be a fuse. It may be something I need to go in there with a computer. I don't know, but we'll find out. So that's really the scoop on the car. And so like, subscribe, make a comment. Let me know if you know anything about Bosch ABS brake systems and them locking up over time, because I would be very interested in knowing anything you know about that. Otherwise, the next video I think is going to probably be about the Jag, but we'll see. And in the meantime, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.